Hey everybody, welcome back to our Calamity weapon testing. Um, so last week we did our Flurry Storm Cannon, and it was a minigun, pre-hard mode minigun. And today we are going to be doing our Frigid Flash, Frigid Frigid Fire, something like that, Frigid Flame, Frigid Frigid Flash. That's what it is, Frigid Flash. Frigid Flash Bolt. It is a hard mode spell tome, which you can get at the very beginning of hard mode. And let's look at the crafting recipe. So you have to do ice blocks, some shiver. I always thought that it was called silver, but it's actually called shiver. Snow blocks, bucket of water, in a bookcase. You get frost, hellstone, obsidian, fire blossom, and a lava bucket to get the frost, or the flame, and then you combine those together with some essence, and you get this uh, wonderful book. And as you can see, the single target DPS is pretty good. In the 100s, 200s, it's a pretty good spell tome for cryogen, especially if you're going into that, because it gives them 2 debuffs instead of 1. That's the mage. Let's test out the group DPS here. Is pretty high, as you can tell, about 2,000. So pretty good for a early hard mode spell tome. But the true test here is testing it out on some bosses. So yes, these are all my accessories. They are pre-hard mode, or not pre-hard mode, early hard mode accessories you can get. Minus the Ankh shield. The Ankh shield you can always get later, but I mean technically you can get it at the beginning of hard mode. So why wouldn't you? Is the question. Let's go test this out against some bosses. In my testing, testing of the testing, I noticed that the destroyer and doesn't like to come up there, and cryogen will spawn up there. So we're going to go ahead and go down the snow biome and fight both of them. These are long boss fights, so I will be speeding them up a little bit. And yeah, as you can see, the Archmage is over there drowning from my first cryogen test run. There he is. And, one thing I've very much noticed about this book is it might be a little too good. I think it needs a little bit of a nerf, because, it shreds. It absolutely shreds bosses, especially cryogen. And the Dusk Shard, or the Dark Shard, Dusk Shard gun is, it's pretty decent, I'd say, but it's not anything special. But I feel like this is a little bit of a better book, although I am a big fan of the Dark Shard. Just for this, just if you have better accuracy, this is probably better. Where the Dusk Shard shines, or the Dark Shard shines, I don't know what it's called, is in its lack of accuracy. So for people who don't want to aim, or for people who do like aiming but get in bad situations, and need a little bit of a help, the Dusk Shard is very effective, and it's really good. I use it when I get in tough spots, and for beginners, it's a pretty good magic spell tome. So that's how I would compare them. I'd still say this gun, this spell tome is a little better. Yeah, as you can tell, I've been playing a little too much Destiny lately. But not anymore, not anymore. I tell you what, that game is something else. It seems like it goes through like phases, like it'll have its good phase where, everybody loves it, like, when Forsaken came out, and Taken King, and Rise of Iron, it's cryogen down. Uh, and then at other times it'll have like really slow moments, like this, the beginning of Destiny 1, or Destiny 2, and the beginning of Destiny 1. where it's just like it's kind of dull. Like it's just all repetitive. I mean, I've heard that the Fellwinter's Lie gun shotgun came out. I'm not interested in getting it at all. I mean, it seems to me as though, you know, Bungie's kind of lost the spark again. I'm sure they'll find it, but I mean, why go through a game, get all hyped up for it when you know that in like a year it's gonna go back to being shit? But that could be just a negative aspect of it after, having big content droughts 2 years in a row. Well, not in a row, but 2 years at both the beginning of Destiny 2 and now. I don't like that you can't go back and play with content. It's like, I don't know. That's why I've been playing so much Terraria recently, because there's just endless stuff to do. That's part of what makes a game fun. In my opinion, is how much can you do with it. Like if I'm stuck doing like war sats, why the fuck would I do a war sat? I mean, unless you want the Seraph guns, the bunker guns, which I mean personally I could give like no shits about, because I could just equip an exotic auto rifle and a shotgun, any shotgun, and I'd do just fine. So yeah, but with games like Terraria, I've been playing a lot of Stardew. Those games really just have lots of content, and I mean I think that's kind of what makes them fun, and that's what keeps the replayability value up. But enough about my Destiny rant. The Destroyer is probably my favorite of the through. See, this is hard because I really like the twins too. Dang. I think I'm gonna go with twins as my favorite, and then Destroyer second, and then Skeletron Prime is a bad third. Which is weird because I like Eye of Cthulhu the least, Eater of Worlds the second, and Skeletron the most in pre-hard mode, and it just completely flips. I mean, I think that partially my lack of liking Skeletron comes from its old expert mode AI, where it just was never very fun to fight because it was just kind of the same. Where like the other ones were really challenging to fight, both the twins and the Destroyer, but I mean Skeletron Prime just kind of stayed the same in terms of how hard it was to fight. If I'm going to farm treasure bags, I'll usually just get Skeletron Prime spawners instead of worrying about the Destroyer. But yep, that's another boss down. Let's go ahead and switch to our hard mode stuff. Alright, hard mode stuff. Let's test out this DPS single target. Is over 1,000. No. 700, 800. Oh, 1,500. There we go. And its group target DPS is... I wish it would be like 5. Only it's for about 3,000. 2,000, 3,000. Not bad. As you can see, we got the Mothra wings equipped. And let me tell you what. The Mothra wings are like the best looking wings in both Calamity and in base game chart and any mod. I mean, they're just so majestic. Although even the new Prisma wings, I don't know what they're called. I mean, I still wouldn't take those over the look of the Mothra wings. Just classic. Speaking of Mothra on 1.2, with every new update that Terraria gets, the vanilla, it seemed as though 1.2 was the biggest and I mean my personal favorite. I mean, just because it added so much stuff. Like, it was like something like 1,600, 1,700 items. I mean, 1.3 was great and all, but nothing beats the classic, old style Terrorblade. And 1.4, the Zenith is great too. I've played with it, but I was kind of disappointed by the crafting tree. Like I said, it was going to be big and long. I didn't think they were just going to mean like just throw a bunch of swords together. I was hoping there was going to be like some materials involved. I mean, I've been talking to people about it, and I feel like I'm the only one disappointed with it, just because it's so mediocre at best. I was hoping they were going to add like new materials, and with this new boss or these new bosses, they were going to have something to do with it. But it's like just put the Seedler, a copper short sword, and an enchanted sword, and I mean I get why they do all that, but it's like come on, man, add some elements, add some stuff from every boss, because like two of them are based on your luck with the Moon Lord. Which I get. I think one of the Moon Lords. Well, actually, I can say both of the Moon Lord swords should be added. And maybe you add all those swords to get like the first step to get like another sword, but then you have to combine that other sword with stuff like like the Prisma or that new sword that the Empress of Light drops. You were to add all that together. There's Cryogen defeated. Add all that other stuff in there, and then maybe get the second step, and then maybe you have to do like angler. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get it right for that angler quest. You have to complete some bestiarity stuff. Like you should have to play every aspect of the game to get that final sword, or something, or something along those lines. Because like I feel like for that amount of power, you should have to play all of the parts of the Terraria, not just beat all the bosses. And I get that boss loot's boss loot. That's why I think that you should have a sword for people who just want to do the boss loot, but then you add something for like the true grinders who will go out and get like you could do something like 1,000 ichor, 1,999 ichor, 999 curse flames, stuff like that. Some crazy hard stuff. Well, maybe not crazy hard, but crazy grindy stuff that will make it like super long quest. I mean, I feel like that's more fulfilling than just because I already have all those swords. So like, I'm just gonna go combine them, and then bam, I'm that OP at the end of 1.4 already. And I think that was what was so great about 1.2, bringing it full circle here. We're gonna go fight Duke Fishron. Bringing it full circle here. You had Knight's Edge and you had True Knight's Edge, but then they added the Solar Eclipse, and they made you get the Broken Hero swords, which on top was like another thing on top of that. And for people at the time, I mean, for me at the time anyway, I started playing at 1.1. Going into 1.2 was like hard. It was hard. Especially getting the Killing Mothras and stuff for... Was that 1.2? That was 1. Yeah, that was 1.2. Killing Mothras for the Broken Hero swords was like difficult, and you had to get 3 of them. Like, I mean, for me personally, that was really difficult, and I really enjoyed getting the Terrorblade recipe. But probably sound like an old person right now. Just back in the 1.2 updates. Duke Fishron, my favorite vanilla Terraria boss. It's honestly probably not a surprise. One of the problems I've noticed is, Duke Fishron's always trying to like charge me and shit, and then I just drain his health with my perks. I'm gonna have to fix that in the next upcoming episodes. There we go. Look at you go, little Duke. I've always liked this. This is my favorite boss, though, by far. Like, by far. But that is the Frigid Flash, yes, Bolt. I hope you enjoyed the rants, and overall, pretty good weapon. So, yeah, I will make sure to see you guys in the next video with the next weapon.